B.
Yes.
No. Just once in college.
Hi, my name is B and welcome to my channel, Mama Needs to Read Romance, and celebrate getting to 1,000 subscribers! One 1,000 subscribers. I can't believe it. Thank you all so much if you have subscribed, and if you haven't, you might want to, just saying. I have so enjoyed getting to chat with so many of you. You guys make my day every day. So thank you for your subscriptions, for your lovely, lovely comments, and for reading along with me. You've given me incredible advice. You've steered me towards books that have just been everything. I don't know what I would do without you. So thank you from the bottom of my heart for 1,000 subscribers. We're celebrating today with a Q&A. You guys asked so many incredible questions. I can't wait to share my answers with you. I want to know what yours would be for some of these questions. So leave them in the comments below. I think this will be really fun. Kelly of Kelly Reads a Lot asks, what is your favorite trope? I would have to say my favorite is friends to lovers. Autumn of Nose in a Book says, what are some of your favorite on-screen romances? Could be movies or TV series. TV series from Felicity, Noel and Felicity. I was always rooting for them. Vampire Diaries, I was all about Damon and Elena. The greatest romances for me in movies, Titanic, Serendipity, A Walk to Remember, and The Notebook. And my favorite rom-coms are She's the Man, Austenland, Maid of Honor, and maybe surprisingly, Something's Gotta Give. I just love those. V from the Sassy Library Fox says, if you could be a book character for one day, who would you want to be and why? I would probably want to be Farah from the A Court of Thorns and Roses series because she has all those incredible powers, and Rhysand. But it would be on a good day, on one of the off days from the fighting. V also asks, and since you read so many romances, who is your ultimate book husband boyfriend and why is he deserving of that title? Oh my, there are quite a few. But if I want to go crazy, I'm gonna say Devraj Kumar from Don't Hex and Drive. He is a vampire who is also a warrior, which is known as a Stygorn. He is what Crystal of Crystal's Bookish Life calls an alpha mallow. And I realized, I love cinnamon roll heroes. I do. But I realized I also like alpha mallows, which is an alpha guy, but with his love, he is nothing but a marshmallow. And that is this guy to a T. He's strong, he's protective, but not possessive. And he is, yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that. Just yummy. And last but not least, V says, do you have any hobbies that you're passionate about aside from reading? Yes, booktube. Whitney from Tibera's Den asks, what is it about Stepbacks that draws you to them? Well, Whitney, let me tell you, when I first started learning about romance, I didn't understand Stepbacks at all. People were talking about them like, what is this? The thing I love about Stepbacks is they just sweep you away. You open the book, you see two people so in the moment, so passionately in love with one another that it just makes you believe in love just that little bit more. It's like this gorgeous visual that love exists and that two people can see past one another's faults and just want to be fully in the moment with this one human being. I love the scenery. I love the outfits. The spiciness never hurts. It's like opening a present. You have the cover, but then there's like this extra peek inside. There's just this something more that just kind of elevates the book to the next level. That's why. Modified Mama Bear asks a great question. What series or standalone would you recommend that would really motivate someone to fall in love with the genre? And by someone, I mean me, LOL. That was great. So it depends on what kind of subgenre. For historical romance, I would say the Lisa Kleypas Wallflower series, which starts with, again, the magic. You get swept away to another time and place. The writing is gorgeous. The passion is phenomenal. You really start to love the characters. There's some angst, but not too much angst. It's great storytelling. 6 books, can't miss. If we're talking contemporary series, I would probably say the Chloe Lee series. And by the way, the only reason I'm holding this right now is because Laura got this for me in celebration of reaching 1,000 subscribers. Thank you so much, Laura. I love this so much. I'm so excited. The thing I love about this author and this series is it is all about, and you've heard me say this before if you've listened to me because I go on and on. I absolutely love how each of the characters in these books are not perfect people. They are flawed flawed, and often their flaws keep them from fully living their lives until they meet this special someone who is willing to love them through whatever it is that they're going through. And in many cases, these are lifelong things that these characters are dealing with. It's not going to just resolve itself. But you realize through the reading of this book that someone who doesn't have a perfect life, which none of us do, can still live and love fully. And that's such an important message. It's also spicy, they're fun, you laugh, and it's a 7-book series. 6 of the books are out so far. You really grow to love this entire cast of characters. Can't miss. Abigail Munoz, I'm so sorry if I pronounced that wrong, asked this question: have you ever tried reading dark romances? If not, I recommend Sophie Lark and her Brutal Birthright series. I have heard nothing but fabulous things about Sophie Lark. I tend to read to just feel good. I just want to feel good, and I want to swoon, and I want to laugh. However, having said that, some of the books that have been my favorites have been ones with lots of angst who've made me cry and made me want to jump back to the book because I need to turn the page and see what happens next. So I probably should try some dark romances. Maybe I'll start with the Brutal Birthright series. Mama Nikki says, I love your voice. It's very soothing. Do you secretly do audiobook narration? I get asked that all the time. And let me tell you, I thought about that. I don't know that I have enough time to narrate. I also don't know if I'd be very good because, as you may notice, I trip over my words sometimes. So I would have to learn to enunciate. But I'll tell you this, what my voice does do when I taught elementary school, this voice was very soothing for children, and it helped me to get all of them to calm down. Also, if there's a random dog loose and it won't come to anyone, if you talk to the dog with this voice, it will come to you. Oh, aren't you sweet? Aren't you adorable? Come on over here. And they're like, oh, really? And then I'm like, gotcha. So anyway, that's what I do with my voice. Melena asks, what are your favorite and least favorite trope, and what author do you think is underrated? Well, I already said my favorite trope, so I'm going to tell you my least favorite trope, which is insta-love. Come on, you got to work for it. I want to know that you actually love the person, because otherwise I think you're just into their looks. Underrated authors. I really love Paula Quinn. I don't know that anyone ever talks about her. I really love her Highlander series and then her Children of the Mist series. After that, I don't love it quite so much. Mrs. Fruity asks, were you ever in drama club or ever taken any acting classes? I'm curious about how you developed your comedic timing. Well, Mrs. Fruity, I took theater productions. I was terrified to be on stage. So no, I was never on stage. However, I watched a lot of Seinfeld and Friends growing up. I don't know if that helped. My biggest training came from, again, teaching elementary school and needing to be the most distracting thing in the room. If you aren't entertaining, 7 and 8-year-olds are not going to pay any attention to you at all. Millie Uribe asks, what's your own love story? We want to know. I met my now husband at a concert. I was actually there because I was interested in his friend. The guy that I was interested in was too lazy to come get me, to meet me at the gate for the concert. So he sent my soon-to-be husband to come get me. And he held a paper plate with my name on it, like at the airport. And I didn't even notice the plate because I kept looking at him because I thought he was so cute. And then he finally walked up to me and he's like, are you B? And I said, yes. And then he held up the plate. I was like, oh yeah, sorry, I didn't look down. You were just so cute. I didn't tell him that. We were friends first. I didn't even know our first date was a first date. I actually brought a picture book to our first date because he and I were both teaching elementary school. I wanted to share a book that I really enjoyed using with him. And it wasn't until later when he said, can that have been our first date? And I was like, oh my gosh, I brought a picture book to our first date. I had also been kind of casually dating a Marine at the time, and I wasn't sure what to do. And I went away to the Marine Corps birthday ball on the other side of the country to go to the ball with him. And it wasn't until I was away from my someday husband that I realized how much I was into him when I was with the other guy that I was long distance dating. And my long distance dating Marine guy said, I think we should be serious and not date any other people. And I said, I can't. You took it very well. Then we dated for like a year and he asked me to marry him in front of my entire classroom. The proposal started on the morning news and then it said to be continued in my trailer. The door to my trailer opened and there was my soon-to-be fiance, now husband, on one knee with a ring. All of the second grade girls in my class just about fainted from adorableness and all of the boys jumped under their desks going, ew! It was great. We got married not long after that, and now we have been married for 14 years. Miley continues with another question. This one's so hard to answer, and the answer probably changes over time. My favorite book and author? My favorite book, Love and Other Words by Christina Lauren. I just can't get this book out of my head. Macy and Elliot, the love that conquers all, the dual timelines, the angst, the way he acts when he discovers that she might be willing to be with him again. Just oh my gosh, the secrets that are revealed when people say, it ripped me apart and then put me back together. That's this book. And my favorite author? Probably Abby Jimenez. I just got this. I special ordered it. It's signed by the author and her 2 dogs, which how cute is that? This woman knows my heart. She writes the best cinnamon roll heroes. There's always real world struggles that go on in her books. They're mature. They're just the right amount of spicy for me. And they're funny. They're heartwarming. They make me feel all the feels that I want to feel. So Abby Jimenez all the way. Miley might be a journalist because she asked another really good question. Something you feel you'll never be able to read about? Any triggers? Yes! I have a very hard time with bondage. It's very hard for me to read that. I get very nervous about people being hurt, emotionally or physically. I can never watch documentaries. Even if they're cute documentaries for kids, I get very nervous. I'm like, oh, the animal's suffering. My husband's like, the duck just tripped. Yes, but it might be hurt. I can't watch. And then also a pet peeve, which goes into trigger. You've heard me mention this before. During an intimate scene, when our hero says to the heroine, good girl, it really annoys me. I feel like he's elevating himself above her and acting all superior and sort of dominating her instead of them being equals. I don't know. It takes the emotion out of it for me. It really irritates me. I know a lot of people that's like their favorite thing, but for me, I cannot stand it. Every time I read a book, if the hero says good girl, I'm like, now you ruined it. The only time it didn't bother me was when I read it recently in this book called The Dueling Duchess, because he grovels at her feet for so much of the book. It's very obvious that she has him wrapped around her finger. So for him to say that, I was like, it's fine. Amanda Loves Sense asks, do you have any advice for newbie booktubers? Why, yes, I do. I would say 2 things. 1, find other newbie booktubers that came in at about the same time as you, and then you can network. It's just nice to be able to connect with somebody that's kind of going through the same things that you are at the same time. The other thing I would say is always be yourself. When I first started this channel, there were quite a few lovely, lovely booktubers that I fell in love with, but specifically Crystal of Crystal's Bookish Life and Christy of Christy Reads a Lot. And I thought, I'm gonna be just like them. And first of all, I don't know if anyone can be as eloquent as Crystal. The other day, I actually reviewed a book and went, so yeah, Crystal wouldn't do that. And with Christy too, nobody, I don't think, has the depth of knowledge or the breadth of knowledge that Christy has. She knows everything about all the books and the number of books that she reads. I'm just staggered every month when I see how many books she reads. Be yourself, because you can't be anybody else. Antonella, whose name I hope I'm pronouncing correctly, asks, what book character do you relate the most with? It might be what book or character, but I'm going to say what book character do you relate the most with? I'm almost embarrassed to say I haven't read this in a while. I'm going to be reading this again soon for the Tessidaire summer coming up, but it almost feels like oversharing because I feel like the thoughts of Emma in this book reflect so much of what I think and feel. It almost feels like my innermost thoughts. I feel like Emma is me. What book have you read and loved but thought you would dislike? Oh, Antonella. This entire series, Ice Planet Barbarians. I was like, no, I am not reading alien romance. That is ridiculous. I already tried a monster romance. I was like, that is not for me. No way. I love this series so much. I thought people were crazy when they said it was a comfort read. They're on an ice planet, but it's true. We've got the cinnamon roll heroes. They're different, but they're not like too different where I'm going, that seems kind of strange. I mean, it is a little strange, but it's escapism in its best form. You have gals that no longer have to worry about any of the stressors of regular life here on the planet Earth. It's all new. It's all different. The settings are, for the most part, gorgeous. The men in this series are gorgeous, gorgeous, inside and out. You always feel safe while you're reading this. Like nothing too terrible is going to happen to anyone for the most part. I mean, it is exciting. And I will say the very beginning of this series, it starts out pretty rough. And I thought, I'm not going to get through this. I'm going to DNF it. I'm so glad I got through the beginning. I almost wish the author had started out in a different place because it's going to turn people off to the rest of the series. The first few chapters are so different than the rest of the series. So don't let that dissuade you. Another great question, Antonella, which author would write your life story? Again, I would say Abby Jimenez. Life's Too Short is a great example. There's just so much that happens in life. In our family, we have a few things thrown at us. We have 2 children with special needs. I love what one of my dearest friends says, improvise, adapt, overcome. That is what we do. That is our only option. And so I feel like Abby Jimenez writes that type of thing beautifully. And the other person, of course, that does that is Chloe Leese. Because again, you work with what you got. You do the best you can with plan B. I mean, because how realistic is plan A for any of us anyway, right? And she also asks, what is you and your husband's trope? Friends to lovers. Sarai MG writes, and I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong, which author would you like to meet? Well, that is easy. Again, I keep saying the same things. I'm so sorry. Chloe Leese. I just love this woman so much. I love the hope that she gives anyone who is struggling or loves someone who's struggling. I just want to thank her and basically just listen while she just gives more advice or words of wisdom because this woman is brilliant. My most treasured book, I just got it for Mother's Day. My husband gave this to me. This is the Steam box. It's actually sold out again. I can leave a link if you want. I'm not affiliated with Steambox. They have special covers and I've been wanting this for a long time and it was pretty expensive. So I asked my husband to get it for me for some holiday and he got it for me for Mother's Day. But this is the special cover to Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez. We have Daniel and Alexis and the flower petals that are coming from the trees. Oh, it's so good. If you've read this book, you're probably swooning just like I am. The moon is there. And then are you ready? On the back, we've got the adorable baby goat and the dog. So yes, I am so excited about this. I'm not letting my children anywhere near it. Susan Wilson asks, what new to you authors are you excited to try? I have so many because I'm still relatively new to the genre. There's so many I want to try out. A historical romance. Lorraine Heath, who I've only read one of her Christmas novellas. Mary Balog, Julie Garwood, Sabrina Jeffries, and Beverly Jenkins are all ones that I've been really excited to try. Also, in contemporary romance, I really want to read Lucy Score. And I don't know Colleen Hoover. I keep hearing about her, but then some people say, just stay away. So I don't really know, but I'm quite curious. Abigail Munoz asks, do you like the surprise baby trope? My answer is, I'm not sure. I haven't read many surprise baby books. If I had to say, I would probably say no. And I think it's probably because it seems like this pregnancy sort of forces people's hands. Maybe I'll do a try a chapter challenge on books that contain the surprise baby trope, although then it's not a surprise. So I don't know, can I do it? Tiffany of Tiff Talks Pages asks, what book world would you like to live in? There are so many that I would like to live in, but the one I'm loving and living in my mind right now is Spindle Cove, which is part of the Spindle Cove series. It's all these quirky, sweet gals who live together in this seaside town. It's quiet. They just get together and relax and get rejuvenated, which sounds lovely. Having lots of girl time, which also sounds fun. And from what I'm gathering, hot guys are just basically falling out of the sky and landing there. So I think for right now, my answer is Spindle Cove. Laura Castagnetto, and I'm sorry if I pronounced your name wrong, asks, who are some other booktubers that you would recommend watching? Who would you like to someday do a collab with? Well, I am open to working with just about anyone on collabs. I think that they're fun. I'm one of those shy people that gets nervous about asking anyone myself. Someday I'd like to step up and try to do that myself. But yes, in terms of who do I recommend you watch, I'm actually going to mention some lovely booktubers I have not spoken about yet at all in this video. They are ladies who I adore. They have always been so encouraging, not just of me, but of other booktubers. And so I want to give them a shout out right here. We have one of my dearest friends, Julie. She is across the pond over in the UK. She was formerly known as the Hungry Bookworm, and now she is experimenting with a whole new format and a cast of characters. And her channel is called Book with Many Covers because she is many different characters characters within her channel. It's very entertaining and interesting. Be sure to check her out if you want to try something new. Also, Reading with Tatiana. I wish I could be more like her when I do my reviews. I don't know if anybody delves deeper than she does. She's so thoughtful in the things that she says. When she reads a book, you know she's really analyzing it and giving you her hard-hitting thoughts. Also, Kelly of Kelly Reads a Lot. She was one of my first friends on Booktube almost a year ago. I have enjoyed getting to know her, and she is consistently so encouraging of everyone. I've really appreciated her enthusiasm and encouragement. I need to find another word other than encourage. Abigail Munoz, you're asking another great question. And again, I'm sorry if I'm butchering your name. What is your favorite celebrity to picture as your male lead in a book? Oh my. I would have to say Ian Somerhalder or Channing Tatum. Here's a random wild card. Edward Albert, who was big in the 70s. I don't know if there's a more gorgeous man, but yeah, those are my answers. Sabrina Tropiano asks, and again, I'm sorry if I pronounced your name wrong, you are transported back in time. Which historical romance world are you escaping to, and who is your male lead? Okay, so I already said Spindle Cove for that other question, but I think I can answer also Stony Cross Park. That is the book that's featured in the Wallflower series. There's so much that goes on. This gorgeous estate in Hampshire. I would want to be with Ethan Ransom in Hello Stranger. He is a detective. He's again like the alpha mallow, like Crystal of Crystal's Bookish Life was talking about. He is super strong. He's protective but not possessive. Again, a very important distinction in my mind. He wants Dr. Garrett Gibson, to be a powerful woman. He wants to equip her to be that way, and he loves her fiercely. He's strong. He's handsome. He's eloquent, even when it's like he's at death's door. I think Garrett Gibson does visit Stony Cross Park, so maybe my answer makes some sense. Maren Simon says, what is your second favorite John Mayer song? She already knows my favorite John Mayer song, which is Slow Dancing in a Burning Room, which I could listen to literally all day and have no problem. And yes, I still got that out, Maren. But my second favorite John Mayer song would either be, I love that you asked this, it has nothing to do with anything, Edge of Desire or New Light. Laura Castagnato asks, what's your favorite romance author that you've discovered since joining Booktube? Well, that would have to be Tessa Dare. I did not know she existed, and she is maybe my favorite historical romance author now. I love her adorable heroes. She's funny. I love that the women are still, they're feminists too, but there's a lot of tenderness in the books as well. I just adore her so much. I want to thank Autumn for giving me this book, especially because we're going to be covering this one on Sunday. Now I actually have a book to hold while I do it. Thank you so much, Autumn. Abigail Munoz says, have you read any books by Anna Huang? I have not. I've heard good things though. Laura Castagnato asks, do you have any auto-buy authors? Oh yes, I do. Tessa Dare, Lisa Kleypas, Abby Jimenez, Emily Henry, to name a few. Love them. Julie of Book with Many Covers asks, do you think you'll ever get tired of reading romance? And my answer is no, Julie, I don't think I will. There are so many subgenres. I just don't think I could ever get bored with it. I love the happily ever after. I just love getting carried away. If I get tired with contemporary, I can do historical. I can even delve deeper into historical. I could go Highlander. I could do fantasy. I can do paranormal. There's just so many things. So no, I don't think I will. And her challenge is, am I willing to accept a reading challenge where she chooses my next read? Yes, but be gentle with me, Julie. Okay, well, that was it. That was so much fun. Thank you for your hard-hitting questions. So much better than anything I could have come up with. If you are still here, 1,000 thanks for my 1,000 subscribers celebration Q&A. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're enjoying whatever it is that you're reading. Yeah, that's pretty much it, whatever you're reading. Until next time, thanks so much. Take care. Bye.